This is the historic birth home of Martin Luther King Jr., where he was born in 1929 and lived for the first 12 years of his life, just a few blocks from the Ebenezer Baptist Church, where he would later preach. We're on Auburn Street in Atlanta, Georgia, and right behind me is the Ebenezer Baptist Church, which is just across the street from the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Park and Preservation Site. So much history here about the civil rights movement up and down Auburn Street, but this is the church where Dr. King preached and where his father did before him. Also here in the Atlanta area is a Tibetan Buddhist temple, Drepung Losaling. It's modeled after a very famous Tibetan monastery in India. So in 1959, the Chinese government came in and destroyed all but 200 of 6,500 Tibetan Buddhist monasteries. And so the government today, the religious leadership of Tibet is in exile in India, but then there's quite a bit of people who have dispersed from Tibet, and that tradition has spread. And so here in Atlanta, this is just one more of those diverse places. This is the Holy Spirit Abbey in Conyers, Georgia. There's a very famous monastery called Gethsemane in Kentucky, and they sent 20 monks here in about 1944 to start this particular abbey, this monastery. And so they started by living in a barn while they built a more temporary structure, and then they started work on what you see behind me, which is the chapel that's part of this particular monastery. This is Conyers, Georgia, just a little ways away from Atlanta, and it's the site of the Holy Spirit Monastery. This is one of just 15 functioning Trappist or Cistercian monasteries in the United States today. It's a place where there are about 28 monks right now, and they support themselves with a gift shop, a bookstore, also retreats for people who want to come and have time to contemplate and meditate. They also make fudge and fruitcakes, but the majority of their day is determined by the prayers and the psalms that they chant and they meet throughout the day. The word, the phrase is ora et labora, or prayer and work. And people can come, whether they're Catholic or of a different faith or of no faith, and spend time here meditating and in a peaceful spot. This is the Sri Swaminarayan Hindu Temple. It's the largest one in the United States, and it's in Rockbridge, Georgia, not far from Atlanta. It's a beautiful place with lovely grounds where people can come and get instruction. They have, of course, a snack shop and a gift shop, but the main thing is to be able to have a place where people can feel at home with their tradition and have a dedicated space that might remind them of where the tradition began, the world's oldest religion, Hinduism, in India. This is downtown Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm standing on the front steps of the Shrine of the Immaculate Conception, one of the oldest buildings in downtown Atlanta. It started off as a little wooden structure, and then it outgrew that building, and so there's the shrine that we have today. It was under the care of the Franciscans for years, and then they handed it over to the Catholic diocese, and it became known at the end of the 1900s for a place that would take care of people from all different communities that were marginalized, and a lot of care for homeless people here. It has a beautiful interior and stands as kind of a monument in downtown Atlanta. Hi there. This is the grounds of the Atlanta, Georgia LDS Temple. And for a long time, the only temple since about 1974 on the east coast of the United States was the Washington, D.C. temple in Kensington, Maryland. So that was a huge temple territory. And then finally, this temple in Atlanta was announced, and by 1983 it was built and it was dedicated by Gordon B. Hinckley. And so we're about 44 years into having this beautiful, beautiful temple right here in Atlanta.